Audit,
in there.
finance,
I didn't
order,
either.
please.
I had contracts.
Wanda, need you here. Any other members around?
I went to
talking
dinner in the good old
folks?
days. No, I didn't even do that.
I'd like to call the meeting to order, and first order of business, we're approving the previous meeting's minutes. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Mr.
Second.
Got it? Okay. Mr. O'Brien?
All in favor?
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried, it's unanimous. Sheriff, are you off the phone?
I'm good to go.
Okay.
Rock and
start with
roll.
I'm going to take the sheriff's items out of order, starting with number 3 of previous business. This is the Clarksville purchase, authorizing an agreement with the Bethlehem Central School District regarding the purchase of property at 58 Verta Avenue in the town of New Scotland.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've finally gotten to the point where we're ready to move forward.
We're on number 3, gentlemen. Sorry, thank you, Sheriff.
I'm good.
Mr. Higgins, how are you?
All ready?
All right, we're all set, thank you.
So we're to the point where we're ready to move forward.
All right.
We finally have everything worked out. We definitely are interested in this building. It's a $198,000 purchase price. And there's some in-kind services as well for security services that we've been providing during the month of end of May, early June at the high school.
There's no real changes to the agreement other than you've got all the issues taken care of with...
Yes, sir.
All
A
right.
couple real simple things about the appearance of the building and everything, but everything that we're doing has really no bearing.
Motion, Mr. O'Brien, second by Wanda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you. Number 9, which is also from previous business, this is the Angarami. Did I say that right, Mr. Bergdorf?
And you're on.
Resolution, amending Resolution 99 for 2016 is amended by Resolution 400 and 572 for 2016 regarding an agreement with Angarami Architects PC for architectural and engineering services for the Sheriff's Office of the County Nursing Home. And since we're now changing from floors 4 and 5 in the tower to the Shaker Wing, we gotta set that aside until...
Yes, sir. We'd ask that would be tabled because they've got to give us a whole new proposal.
Do you have any idea how long,
We should
when
name
they're
that.
gonna start on doing that?
We've asked them to expedite it because we want to really aggressively pursue this project. And so they've given us their word that they will get it done as soon as possible. I also want it to be, I want it to be accurate, so I don't want to put too much pressure on it.
All right, we're getting there.
We're getting there
It's all
slowly.
gonna work out for the better. Okay, good. So we're tabling that at the request of the sheriff, and then we move on to number...
Do we have to take a vote on that?
Take a vote on the table?
Move.
Motion, Bergdorf, second, Higgins, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yes, we're tabling number 9 again. Now we'll move on to 14 of current business, authorizing an agreement with New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services regarding emergency preparedness initiatives and amending the 2018 Sheriff's Office budget.
Mr. Chairman, this was an agreement for $113,000 that will go into using radio equipment, maintenance contracts for the entire county. No matching fund.
Motion, questions? Motion, Mr. Clay, second, Wanda Willingham, all those in favor? Aye,
Aye.
opposed? Unanimous. Number
Did you see
15,
that?
I believe, right? Authorizing submission of a grant application to the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services regarding the Explosive Detection Canine Team Program and explosive canines?
I prefer the dogs don't blow up, but
And amending your budget for 2018, Sheriff. Go ahead.
it's to add $42,000, permission to enter into and receive $42,000 grant, which would be utilized from July 26th of 2018 into August 31 of 2020. No match again.
Questions?
What's the vehicle?
What?
What's the vehicle? Is it like a big SUV? You just
It's
put the
a
plug in it?
Ford Explorer, but by the time they're outfitted and everything else, it's, you add another $10,000, $12,000 to the cost.
Okay, Mr. Bergdorf, seconded by Mr. Higgins. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, now we're on to addressing the capital plan changes that we were just talking about in the nursing home for the emergency 911. Public hearing on amending the Albany County Capital Program for 2019 through 2023. Sheriff.
Mr. Chairman, we were simply looking for description change only in the capital plan. We initially had the 5th and the 4th floors for the tower. We would like to change it from the 5th and the 4th floor to the Shaker Wing, which is the area closest to the airport. It's an L. With that, we anticipate building on a 6,000 square foot addition as well, basically turning the L into a rectangle and have a state-of-the-art facility.
Wanda, you have a question? As the chair of Elder Care Committee?
Yes, so you were in the tower or you're still in the tower?
We wanted to go to the tower, but with the changes in the regulations and the codes, we would have to fortify the entire tower in order for us to utilize the top. So it just wasn't the prudent thing to do. Then Mr. Slacky and the county exec's office asked us to look at the Shaker Wing, which really suits our purpose perfect for the command center and 911. We just have to add on to it. But even adding on to it, we are still saving millions and millions of taxpayer dollars by utilizing the ground and the Shaker Wing.
So when you say the Shaker Wing, is that still part of the tower? Or is that just?
No, it's on the first floor. I don't know how to really describe it. It's,
Drive up.
The writer's running.
yeah.
Okay.
Closest to the main road, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, as you drive up. Mr. Bergdorf?
Sheriff, if my memory serves me, and the Commissioner of Finance is there, or Management Budget, did we have about somewhere in the area of $5 million in the capital plan for 4 and 5? I would never hold anybody to a back-of-the-envelope number, but are we anticipating that we can do the Shaker Wing with the addition within that sort of a budgetary
No,
study?
not at all.
It'll be more than that?
I anticipate having to come back, we would do it in the next capital call for probably 25% with the new regulations, an additional 25% on top of the $5 million. Because we have to add on in order to conform with all of the codes,
Yeah.
we definitely are going to need more money.
Okay,
But-
was the command center also in 4 and 5?
Yes,
It was?
Yes.
Is it better to have a first-story command center?
I think so. We have a really good plan that we spoke to with the architects and as well as Mr. Slacky about what we can do to fortify it and still make it look beautiful. And yeah, we will be well within our rules and regulations as far as the building of it, and it'll be more than protected. And I also think it's a great location by virtue of having the airport close by, the jail's close by. I actually, even mentioned it today to the town supervisor of Colony. It'll be a state-of-the-art facility, and I'd like to see others use it as well.
Plus it'll be close to the new exit 4.
Yeah.
Exit,
I think it's a
off
good
the north
location. And again, there's area 911 centers being built that are in the high 20 millions. So I think by utilizing an existing building and adding on to it, I think we're really accomplishing our goal and saving a lot of money.
Ms. Willingham?
Okay, so was the sheriff's office receiving any grant dollars for the tower that might go over into the Shaker
Well,
building, or?
We receive grant funding that'll take care of all of our equipment, anything that runs the system. I cannot use any of those funds for bricks and mortar. But I think, again, we still are we're in good shape with our grant funding to keep this at a minimal cost considering what the finished product will be.
So this is going to be additional monies that's added on to the whole nursing home?
No, ma'am.
No, it's-
Separate
It's a
project.
separate
No,
plan.
I have
It's
nothing
separate
to
in
do
the
with
capital
that.
plan now.
Okay.
But
Nice and clear, okay.
I have nothing to do with that project.
Okay. I'm done.
But this'll,
Good question, though.
they'll be able to build the facility sooner than they would
Yes.
otherwise, having to wait for the nursing home part of the renovation to be done before they can get in there. So, Chris?
Just briefly, Sheriff, does this new plan encompass the potential consolidation of 911 services for the city of Albany, for example, and other municipalities? Is the footprint gonna be big enough for that?
This footprint will run all of Albany County and adjoining counties.
Oh, wow.
You know, it's just, I think, look, listen, the building that we're in lasted us almost 25 years. We've just simply outgrown it.
Sure.
And there's no room for expansion there. If we plan this right and think everything through, we will be able to do Albany County and contiguous counties in the event we need to, or we want to look at a regional approach, which is something that I think we really need to do.
Sure. Great.
Are there any other questions, members? All right, the first resolution, 16, is just dealing with the public hearing, and we just had a substantive discussion basically about 17. So let's have two separate votes. First on 16 for the public hearing. Do I have a motion? Mr. Bergdorf, seconded by Mr. Joyce for the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. On 17, adopting an amendment to the Albany County Capital Program for 2019-2023. This is where they changed the 4 and 5 floors in the tower to the Shaker Wing.
Yep.
Motion?
Motion.
Ms. Willingham?
This has to be tabled.
This has to be tabled because we have to have the public hearing. Sorry.
Okay.
So I have a motion to table this.
Motion to
We're
table.
all on board. Wanda, seconded by Orion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we table that pending public hearing, which will be Tuesday, which Tuesday is this? October 23rd? October 23rd, okay? I think you got all your items covered, Sheriff. That wasn't
Thank you,
painless, right?
and I apologize for the confusion, but I think it'll all work out in the end, so thank you.
Thank you for coming. All right, let's move back to previous business number 1, resolution number 170, authorizing the Albany County Executive to enter into a lease agreement with the Albany Capitals Lacrosse Club.
Be tabled, Mr. Chairman, sorry.
Table that we have to vote on this too?
Yep.
Motion table from Higgins, second by Mr. Clay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is this going to be, we're going to have any action on this in the future, or?
I wish I knew.
Share, get off the clock.
Number 2, local law I for 2018, local law of the County of Albany to enact the requirements of the International Building Code requiring residential fire sprinklers and new construction within Albany County. Sponsor not here. Anybody go to the demonstration?
Yeah, I went.
Good.
And
You know,
Lynn
I
went. Lynn went.
Okay.
And,
It's kind of amazing how fast everything goes. 30
Okay.
seconds and
All right, motion to table.
No, it's tabled.
Table automatically.
yeah, because he didn't show up.
Tabled automatically. Okay.
Number
We already
4.
did number 3, right? Number 4, resolution number 232, requiring equality funding regarding the Albany County Legislative Grants Award Program. Sponsor is not here.
Table.
Table. Number 5, resolution number 280, authorizing Albany County's participation in the sales tax free week for 2018 on items of clothing and shoes costing less than $110. Sponsor's not here. Table. Resolution number 333, repealing resolution number 445 of 2016, establishing a policy regarding other charges transferred to Albany County on delinquent tax bills. This was tabled, as I understand it, in law. So, table it.
Okay.
Number 7, resolution number 337, update and create an Albany County Master Waterfront Plan to promote travel, tourism, recreation, and waterfront development on the Hudson and Mohawk Rivers in Albany County.
Water skiing.
Without prejudice, the sponsor is not here, we're tabling it. Be interested in hearing from you folks on this someday?
I got plenty to say.
Not you, someone who knows. 8, local law R for 2018, the local law of the County of Albany, New York, prohibiting Albany County government from assisting in the investigation of citizenship or immigration status of any person. Tabled. Amending Resolution 99 for 2016. I'm sorry, we did that one. Number 10, Resolution number 376, public hearing on local law number R for 2018. Tabled. 11, authorizing the conveyance of real property known as Bayberry Lane in the city of Cohoes. Mr. McLaughlin.
Mr. Chairman, this had been tabled in committee, not at our request, last month. We're still supportive, the county executive's office is still supportive of the transfer.
I wouldn't do anything about it right now.
What number are we on? 11? Oh, 11.
They said they did not request this to be tabled last time.
No, my understanding is that the municipality had requested that it be tabled.
Is there anybody here from the municipality to talk about it?
They're busy right now, I think.
Go ahead and get it out.
Let's table it. Motion to table? No one's here to talk about it.
Oh, table.
Easier.
Table.
So, Ryan?
You want it out?
I am here to talk about it today.
Do we know why they wanted to table it?
I would
Is there any
just-
insight?
Let me just,
We have nobody here to talk about it from Cohoes.
no, let's
or-
table it. I vote to
We have
table.
a motion to table. Do I have a second?
Wanda has a question.
Wanda, you have a question?
Not on
No?
this, I'm just wondering why, who's bringing this?
It was introduced by the county executive's office.
It was.
So it was submitted by the county, yes. This is an RLA, yes.
Oh,
So why are we taking it?
May I ask the question a little differently? Is there anything that the county executive's office can tell us about any discussions relative to this that would give us some insight as to what the issues are?
After the request to table from the from what I understand, after it was tabled last month, the municipality communicated to me that they were, that they had potential other property interests in the area, and that may impact this. That's all I have.
All right, so we'll go back to Mr. O'Brien. Motion to table, seconded by Mr. Grimm. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Mr. Higgins?
I'm a no.
Otherwise, and Mr. Joyce. Anybody else? Okay. So what's the vote on that? Table?
7-2.
I'd ask, next month.
Yeah, let's get this, yeah, we need.
can we
to-
just clear it up a
Try
little
this
bit?
a different way.
It's great that they're communicating with you, but they need to communicate with
Oh, I couldn't agree more, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
All right.
Yeah. No argument for me on that one.
Again, without.
It's like
without-
Jeopardy,
right,
it must
thank
be
you.
in the form of a question.
That's right.
So then we'll move back on to current business number 12, resolution number 433, authorizing the conveyance of real property in the city of Albany located at 355 and 357 Elk Street. Do I have questions?
Yes,
Wanda?
I haven't heard from Mr. Delete. He was told me to give us more information on what he was doing. I just want to say that, so. With that said, I want to object now.
Okay.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Understood, legislator, understood.
I take it the motion to move is not coming from Wanda.
Do you
Do
want
I have a
to
motion to,
do you want to table?
Yeah,
you want
I'll second that for him.
I haven't heard from him.
okay.
I
all right, we
heard
have
from him, but he hasn't got back to me with his.
Motion from Ms. Willingham to table,
Second.
because we want to hear what's going on.
Mr.
right?
DeLeo.
Seconded by Mr. O'Brien. All those in favor of tabling
Aye.
this? Opposed? Unanimous. We're building up that previous business.
I love it.
13 is
Oh, you love
tabled. 14, authorizing an agreement with the New York, we did that one, we did 15, 16, 17. We're on to 18, Mr. Slack, approving the Department of Residential Healthcare Facilities collective bargain agreement with New York, with NICET, and amending the 2018 Department of Residential Healthcare Facilities budget.
This is an agreement that we've been working, I'm sorry.
I think Wanda wants to reconsider that last property that we tabled.
We need a motion, we need a motion to reconsider.
Yeah, she has some more,
Take-
she got some information that she
I'd
didn't.
make a motion to hit the clawback button and
Back to the future.
With
Second, Mr. O'Brien, all those in favor?
Hold on a second, We need a motion to reconsider on item number 11.
I have to
Back
make
on
a
the
motion.
table.
Number 12, isn't it?
Excuse me, number 12.
Elk Street, number 12.
So we had a motion, we had a second, we have a vote to restore it to the calendar. All right, that was passed unanimously.
All those
All in favor?
Aye.
To reconsider.
Any opposed?
Any opposed?
Elk Street.
All right, now we have We need a motion to, any discussion? All right, Mr. Higgins will move reporting it.
We should have some discussion to explain why.
So what we're looking to, what Wanda's looking to do is have it moved out and requesting the information from this gentleman. And if the information does not come, then we'll have the chair send it back.
Okay, fair enough, good idea.
Motion by Ms. Willingham?
Yes.
Seconded by Mr. Higgins. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. So
Thank you very much.
we're reporting it out pending, okay. Now,
Supply
Mr.
side
Slacky, sorry for the
No,
interruption.
that's okay. This is a labor agreement that we've been working on for the last 6 months that's retroactive to January 1st of this year. It's with the New York State United Teachers, which our professional staff are part of. This agreement will go for a 5-year period from January 1, 18 to December 31, 2022. It allows for each person to receive a 2% increase each year for those 5 years. The first 2 years, however, each staff member who is on the payroll will receive a 1% raise on their base salary. And then we have computed taking what that 1% raise would be, looking at all of the salaries, and then dividing it amongst those who are on the payroll who are left. And therefore, what will end up happening, even though it's a total of a 2% raise, the higher compensated staff members, and this was their idea to try to assist the lower paid people within the union to get a larger raise than 2%. What will end up happening is the higher compensated staff members will probably receive a raise of around 1.75%, while the lower compensated people will receive a raise around 2.25% as an example. But the total is a total of 2%, and it only deals with people who are on payroll using that dollar amount, and it's for this year and next year. And this will bridge the gap. What they felt, these professionals who work at the nursing home, and it's really a great thing that they're doing, is allowing those people who are less compensated to earn more money and become closer to them. They felt if everyone continues to get a 2% raise, the gap between the lower paid people and the higher paid people grows, and they want to stop that from happening. So this increase for 18 is $87,141, which will be funded from vacant positions. So it is budget neutral as far as the budget's concerned, and I did fund it in my 19 budget because I knew what the dollar amount would be.
Okay, by professionals, you are referring to RNs and who else?
I'm referring to certain RNs, the RN supervisors, director of physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, director of food service, certain office staff are in that union as well.
And what's the turnover been like among the professionals these days?
We've had this past year, I believe, 2 turnovers, both retirements. One person was there 30 years, 135. The respiratory therapist, I think, was there 35 years. And the food service director, who also retired from the system, our system, was there around 30 years. Other than that, we haven't had any turnover.
Bingo. Thank you. Okay, good to know. A motion?
I think that's the question.
Yeah, Mr. Brooks.
Do the folks that are getting less than 2, were they all on board with this, Larry?
Yes, they voted, they have to vote. And no one, there were actually, let me rephrase that. Out of the 68, I believe, people who voted, I think there's approximately 68 people in NYSA, 4 people voted against it, actually.
It's a remarkable collaboration between management and union.
Right, and I'm not going to go into why they voted against it. But I know why. But it really was the right thing to do, and you're right. It's amazing that these professionals are doing the right thing by their coworkers.
And that's got to help morale, I would imagine. It's got to help morale. Thanks.
Motion by Mr. Grimm.
Yes.
Second by Mr. Joyce. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you. We have another one for you, Larry. Number 19, amending the 2018 Department of Residential Healthcare Facilities budget, property repair and rental.
This was an error that was made when the bill was processed. They used the wrong budget account number, so the money of $17,600 was taken from the wrong line. Even though the company was paid properly, what we want to do is refund that line and fix the error that was made.
Mr. Dillon, you know anything about that?
I didn't process it.
Move it.
Motion to move.
A motion moved by Mr. Joyce, second by Mr. Bergdorf. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you for your
All right, thank you
explanations.
very
Very
much.
good.
Thank you, sir.
Looking forward to seeing you at the
16.
16th.
Right around the corner.
Okay. He's here, he's in town. Number 20, amending the 2018 Water Purification District budget, overtime. Tim?
Yes, sir. The district is requesting approval for a budget transfer to cover overtime expenses that were incurred during storm events, mandated incinerator operator training, and staff vacations. This is a budget neutral transfer.
Questions from the members? Motion. Brian, second Mr. Clay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
22, amending the
21.
21, sorry, amending the 2018 Department of Recreation budget, administrative adjustments.
Thank you,
What do
Mr.
we got
Chairman.
here?
How you doing?
All right, how are you doing?
Doing good, doing well, thank you. The additional money,
We haven't voted yet, you know.
that's true, that's true. We'll wait then. The additional money is needed to offset the additional hours of operation due to us staying open all year. Our budget, as you guys know, was built around 10 months of operation. We are now running 12 months, and we need the extra funding for electric, natural gas, staffing and propane. And the reason for this, why we have extended staying open, is because the Nick Arena in Friar Park and Troy closed, so we are taking on obviously additional usage for our rink.
Questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Griffin?
we'll realize additional revenue, I would imagine, from this.
Absolutely.
So how does the additional cost relate to the additional revenue?
It's offset. Yeah, it's an offset. We're adding to the revenue to offset the
So it'll come out-
additional cost.
it'll come out-
We are making a slight profit on this. It's
Did we
not
double
100%.
We are
charge
making
Troy
a slight
residents?
Yes.
So it's a good financial thing. It
Yeah,
helps
this makes
our
sense
neighborhoods.
for us.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Motion?
Motion by Mr. Clay, seconded by Mr. Higgins. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it.
Okay, we're on 22 now. Amending the 2018 Department of Children, Youth, and Families budget, raise the age.
So this was submitted by the Department of Management and Budget, as most are here, because it impacted multiple countywide agencies. Children, Youth, and Families is the only one that has a budget impact for 2018 though, or is forecasting a budget impact for 2018. New York State has said that as part of this Raise the Age initiative, any additional costs incurred by the county will be offset 100% reimbursed by the state.
When?
That's been a mixed
10 years
answer.
down the road?
No, that's, so costs, like, from a capital perspective, so costs from a capital perspective, they say they will reimburse the financing, or they will reimburse the payments on the financing. If financing goes through a state entity like DASNY or something like that, apparently, the Dormitory Authority, sorry, there will be they will intercept, so it wouldn't hit us at all. The reimbursement for costs associated, like with programming related to Raise the Age, is you basically have to keep track of your expenses related to the new population of AOs, adult offenders that are coming into the system under Raise the Age, and they will reimburse you based on that cost.
They have us filing these expenses monthly, so I can't imagine there's gonna be that much lag.
Right, and, oh, I'm sorry,
Reimbursement.
thank you, Dave. For programmatic costs, apparently it's on a monthly, as far as we know right now.
So this is to add in the additional appropriations for the absolute hardest we think we may get hit, to allow us to have the ability to expend to that, and then have an offsetting revenue coming back in from the state to pay that back.
How are
Zero
we,
county share.
how are we doing this in the budget?
We will be budgeting in 2019 for this, as a single package through all the departments that are affected.
Raise the age occurs on October 1st. It goes
This
into
year.
place this year. That's the deadline.
Next month.
Yeah.
Yep.
So extra personnel costs
Yeah,
and
we need
stuff
to
that.
be educated on this more, right?
We held an informational session here a couple months ago for folks. We can do it again then.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Wanda?
So I'm looking at the $948,000. This came in from the state?
No, we will, if we incur any of the expenses in the top three lines, we will receive that money back from the state as a reimbursement on the backside, after the fact.
So we're anticipating that half of the money is going to foster care?
That's what their estimate is, but no one knows exactly how hard we're going to get hit by this. This is a worst-case scenario. When this was implemented in other areas, like Rhode Island is cited very frequently, there was there was a drop-off. The police stopped arresting the kids in the 16 and 17-year-old range. And they actually ended up not going through the juvenile system at a rate that anybody expected. So Rhode Island actually built out full-on facilities that ended up never being open.
Dave's right, there was a spike and then it leveled off and dropped below historic levels. So they built out because they saw the spike and then it dropped out and now they have empty
So
facilities.
we're anticipating worst-case scenario. We're not going to expend anything unless we need to, though. That's why none of the other departments are even looking to bring anybody on.
So you're looking for appropriation authority now, but.
But it's all, none of it's staffing at this point. It's if we get a kid in the system and they say he needs to go to secure detention, or he needs to go into the foster care system rather than going to secure detention, rather than going to the county jail, this will allow us to pay the providers of those services, and then we can file for reimbursement to get them what they need.
This could be a big jump in the 2019 budget.
It's going to be a significant thing to look at, yes. Like we've talked about here, it's supposedly reimbursable. So the state has set up their guidelines of what they need. We have filed our plans.
100% reimbursable.
That's what they've said since the beginning.
Sure. Surely. Till the next down cycle.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, that's their story.
That's their story.
That is not our story.
Mr. Grimm has another question.
What's happening is these teenagers are shifted from the prosecution system to the youth system, and
Yes.
that's why it's costing the youth system more.
Yes.
But shouldn't there be some corresponding reduction in the cost in the district attorney's office, given that they're going to be dealing with a lot fewer people, obviously?
I don't want to
Which is-
speak for the district attorney's office, but that would be very logical.
Just from a budget perspective, I think that's something we should keep in
One
mind.
slight caveat, this year is only 16-year-olds, next year on October 1st is 17-year-olds, so it's feathered in, it's not an immediate thing this year.
I should clarify also, this raise the age doesn't necessarily take the district attorney's office out of it. There's still a whole bunch of activity that the district attorney will be involved in, and particularly with arraignments, the structure for raise the age is quite complex in which courts these individuals need to be arraigned in, when that has to happen, and there will necessarily be district attorneys involved. So without speaking to particulars and specifics of money, it's not accurate to say that the DAs will necessarily be cut out of it.
That would be a good question.
Yeah, that's something to
That's the
carefully
DA,
review.
the Budget, you know, and okay, Higgins and you two can figure that out, that'd be great. All right, any other questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Motion? Mr. Willingham, second, Mr. O'Brien, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thanks, Dave. You're welcome. 23, authorizing the submission of a grant application and to enter into an agreement with the New York State Department of Health regarding opioid intervention services and amending the 2018 Albany County Department of Health budget.
Good evening. Dr. Whalen couldn't be here, so I'm in her place. Shannon Witherspoon, Assistant Commissioner of Finance for the Health Department. The Health Department was selected to receive $75,000 from the State Department of Health to implement evidence-based interventions to address the opioid epidemic in New York State. So we are requesting to budget the $75,000 into our 2018 budget.
Good job. Questions from members?
Is this just until the next budget takes effect, or is this until the next budget?
So
it takes effect, or is this to bridge the gap between 18 and 19?
No, so it's $75,000 to use from September 1st, the grant started, until June 30th, 2019.
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
whatever funding we don't spend this year, we will encumber until the
Okay.
2019 budget.
okay, thank you.
Questions? Wanda?
Yeah, can you just tell me what an evidence-based intervention is?
As the Commissioner of Finance, I don't think
Show me
that,
the money.
right, I will
That's evidence.
take that back and ask Dr. Whalen to respond appropriately.
So a lot of it has to do with basically matriculating folks into community programs. There's a lot of counseling involved, referrals to programs that engage in chemically assisted recovery for folks who've heard of chemicals like buprenorphine and things of that nature that allow folks to get off opiate dependency while not having the cravings to kind of allow them a chance at recovery. So these are all this is the new paradigm of treatment in the world of opiate addiction, and it is distinct and separate from some of the older, different chemical dependency epidemics like alcoholism and things of that nature.
Motion? Joyce, seconded by Mr. O'Brien. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Ms. Witherspoon. Good job. Number 24 is tabled. I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Right, second.
I get to go to my grandson's football game.
Wait.
Motion. Oh, we do this one, we need to. Yep. 20,000 items. It's, I'm sorry, it's an R. All right, motion to table 24. Mr. Grimm, second by Mr. Clay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? It's tabled. Because I run a good meeting. Motion to adjourn.
Second.